We're back at Harmon Field as we get ready for the 8th grade game tonight between Woodland and Ramay. Woodland is the visitor team tonight. They're wearing their white uniforms, even though they're playing here on what's typically their home field. White pants, white tops, white helmets. And Ramay comes out wearing their red pants and red tops and white helmets. Got those Red Wolf logos on the side. Woodland, of course, has got that blue W on the side of their helmets. They've had on the side of their helmets for a long time. Ramay won the coin toss, and they opted to receive, so they'll get the ball first. In the 7th grade game a little bit ago, Woodland won 22-14. This Woodland 8th grade team is undefeated this year, 3-0. They've defeated Oakdale out of Rogers. And then from the Springdale School District, they've beaten Lakeside and Central the past 2 weeks. Play Ramay tonight, then next week they go up to Bentonville to take on the Washington Wildcats. That game will be played in Centerton at Bentonville West Football Stadium.
Nice little jaunt.
Pretty good little jaunt for Washington, too.
Yeah.
Washington Junior High is off of Central Avenue in Bentonville. That's a little bit of a drive out to Centerton from there.
Beautiful night for football. Sun is set. Lights have taken over, and
Cale Bray is the kicker for Woodland. You'll see a lot of low line drive kicks from Cale. And that's what you see here, and that'll go out of bounds, and that'll draw the flag, and Ramay will have nice field position to start its first drive.
obviously didn't want to let the Red Wolves set up a return. And the Ramay offense got to huddle up first. Woodland defense is already out on the field. They're ready to go.
Talk about Woodland being in position maybe to play for their conference championship. This is a big game for them tonight. Got a nice win last week against Central. It's always a challenge when you play those Bentonville schools too, and they've got two of those three in the next few weeks. A fumbled snap on first down, and Woodland's going to get a tackle way back in the backfield.
Made him pay for that one. Tidwell with the stop. Here's Johnny on the spot. And big loss for the Red Wolves.
Back to the 27-yard line. It's a loss of 8 on the play. Second down and 18. 8-minute quarters in 8th grade football. Got some movement on the line of scrimmage, and now Woodland's going to get 5 of those yards back as the two defensive tackles jumped across the line of scrimmage. That was Desiree Patterson with the offsides called against him.
Stacking the box.
Also Julian Stafford. So it's second down and 13, high snap. And Jones with a good carry out to the 35-yard line. It'll bring up a third down and 10.
It's 2 snaps in a row they've struggled with.
Yeah. Feels a little weird tonight to see Woodland wearing those white jerseys here at Harmon Field.
Yeah.
But we mentioned this during the 7th grade game. They're actually getting to play an extra home game basically this year because they are the designated visitor tonight. On third down, Holden Plant just throws it into the ground, and it'll bring up a fourth down now for Ramay. Good defensive possession that time for the Colts.
Colts looked really good on defense that time.
If Woodland was the home team for this game, they would only get to play 5 home games this year at most. Ramay punts this away. That's number 11, Cooper DeVessery.
Nice kick.
Landed Schaefer with the fair catch, and Woodland will start from its own 38-yard line. But had Woodland been the home team, they wouldn't have gotten more than 5 home games this year. And by home games, I mean games here at Harmon Field. But by being the visitor tonight, they get 6 games here in Fayetteville, just 3 on the road. They'll play in Bentonville a couple of times, and they'll play up in Rogers once. And they get to start the season with 4 straight games here in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's nice. Get home at a reasonable hour.
Can't imagine there's too many teams that haven't played a road game before October 1st, but that'll be the first time that Woodland plays a road game. We've got a flag here before the snap, and
I think we had a false start.
yes, it's a false start against Woodland.
Yeah.
Landon Schaefer is the quarterback for the Colts. He's a pretty good one, too.
Yes, he is.
Dual threat. He's made a lot of plays this year with his legs. He's also shown a really strong arm.
Well, with the 7th grade game going long and a rivalry game, I think it's gonna take a series for these guys to kind of settle down and get in rhythm.
Yeah, on most nights, they're starting their game maybe 30, 40 minutes earlier than they are tonight.
Yeah.
It's 7:23, and we're only a minute and a half into this game. Schaefer on first down throws left side, and not much there. Out to the 34-yard line goes Charlie Graves.
Nice open field tackle by Devion Jones.
Gain of maybe a yard. And it'll bring up a second down and 14. Schaefer with a 5-receiver set. Ramay jumps. No, they say it didn't come across. It's big number 77, Jackson Oliver. Schaefer now looking right side. The pass is incomplete. He had his man, and he might have had a big gain if he could have pulled it in. Intended receiver was Colson Crone. And now to be 3rd and long for Woodland. 3rd down and 14. The Colts need to get to their 48-yard line.
Good sportsmanship there. Caden Wamser gave him a pat on the head. Good try. You like to see that.
3rd down. Schaefer looking right side, trying to set up a screen. The pass is caught across the 35, the 40, but it'll be short of the first down. On the reception that time was Mathis Brady. Gets out to the 44-yard line, and it'll be a 4th down and 4 upcoming.
Schaefer's also the punter, too, so looks like the punt unit's coming on.
Yeah, he never leaves the field, Blair.
No,
He's
he
the
does.
punt return man. He's the quarterback. He's the punter. And he plays defensive back for the defense.
Yeah, probably sells popcorn and Cokes at halftime, too. He does everything.
He's not a bad defensive player either.
No, he excels at pretty much everything he does.
Saw him last week force a turnover in that game. He'll punt it away here. Doesn't give Ramay
Nice bounce.
Yeah. Inside the 20, it'll roll inside or stop right on the 10-yard line and be down right there.
And
Two things there. He didn't give the Ramay return man a chance to return it and then put enough spin on the ball that it went another 15 yards or so.
Yeah, I don't think the Ramay coaches were real thrilled that Xavier Brown let it bounce over his head and pin him down at the 10-yard line, but those things happen.
So Ramay will start 1st and 10 from its 10. 4:51 to play first quarter. No score here at Harmon Field.
A defensive battle early on. Neither offense just really able to do anything on that first possession.
I'm always struck how much bigger the 8th graders are than the 7th graders.
Yes.
They grow so much in that year. On first down, he just threw it behind his man. He had Caden Wamser running free over the middle of the field, but Plant just threw it behind him, and it'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, Wamser was not looking for it where it was thrown. Ramay really started out in a hole offensively.
They work out of the pistol formation on 2nd down. Another high snap. They give it to Jones, and he's hitting the backfield, taken down for a loss of about 2 on the play. Patterson was in on the tackle that time for Woodland. Probably 3 or 4 other Colts also went on the tackle, and it's 3rd down and long.
They're just pinning their ears back and going. Ramey will make a substitution.
Ramey needs to get to the 20. 3rd down and 11. Plant being pressured, throws. The pass is caught across the 10, the 15, but it'll be short of the 1st down. Slinkered on the tackle that time for Woodland. Also Tesmer.
Good tackle, too. They just wrapped him up and wouldn't let him go. Textbook.
Jordan Beanland on the reception that time for Ramey. It'll bring up a 4th down and 3, and you believe the Red Wolves will punt it away, but
nobody deep for Woodland, Matt.
Setting up like they might go for it. Got to watch the hard count here. Try a hard count, look toward the sideline, and now they'll take a timeout. 3:13 to play first quarter. No score at Harmon Field. This is Woodland football. Back at Harmon Field, 3:13 to play first quarter. No score between Ramey and Woodland. Ramey facing a 4th down and 3. And they bring their offense back out on the field after trying to draw Woodland offside. Kind of an interesting decision here by the Ramey coaches.
Now
Are they going to try to go for it, or?
Yeah.
No, they're going to try to do a pooch punt. This is DeVessery. It's a high kick, and it's going to be fielded by Schaefer at the 40-yard line. Schaefer gets across the 30. He may go. He's at the 25. Schaefer's at the 20, the 15, the 10. Gets a great block. Touchdown, Woodland. What a great block at the end of that run by Xavier Barnes. And Landon Schaefer takes it back 40 yards for Woodland's first special teams touchdown of the season. And with 2:59 to play in the first quarter, the Colts lead 6-0.
Boy, that was spectacular.
Well, there's 2 things that stand out to me, Blair, on that play. Number one is that Schaefer had the presence of mind to get back and return the punt when he saw that Ramey was going to pooch punt, and then the execution by the Woodland special teams to set up that wall on the right side, and what a great block at the end by Burns.
Yeah, I don't think Ramey anticipated Schaefer going back and catching that.
Schaefer fakes it to Burns here on the 2-point try. Rolls right, throws toward the back of the end zone, and he overthrows his man. He was looking for Tesmer in the back of the end zone. 2-point try, no good, but with 2:59 to play in the first quarter, Woodland has struck first here in the Battle of Fayetteville. The Colts lead Ramey 6-0. This is Woodland football. Back at Harmon Field, 2:59 to play first quarter. Woodland leads Ramey 6-0. After a 40-yard punt return touchdown by Landon Schaefer. Blair, we said just a few minutes before he did that he does it all. And he adds a special teams touchdown to his resume for the year.
Yeah, and the ever-growing resume for Mr. Schaefer.
Bray will kick it off. That line drive kick takes a high bounce at the end. It'll be fielded at the 25 and back out to the 34-yard line. It was Vessery on the return for Ramey. DeVessery. And it'll be a first down from the 34.
So special teams allows Woodland to strike first, and they are playing with the lead right now. The defense really has stymied this Ramay offense so far.
It's interesting to watch these teams because we watch this from a couple of viewpoints. Of course, Blair, you and I do the Fayetteville High School games. And so you know that these players are going to be coming up for FHS here in the next couple of years. But we're so used to watching Woodland that you forget that there's a whole other roster in town that's going to fill up those FHS rosters in a couple of years. And so it's a good look to see what's coming up from the other side of town. Jones with the run here, and he's hitting the backfield, taken down back at the 33-yard line. That was Reed Slankard on the tackle, and then Reed's a little slow to get up. Reed looked like he bounced off of Jones when he hit the ground, and trainers would come out and take a look at him.
Yeah, you mentioned that about both schools feeding into Fayetteville. We've seen most of the Fayetteville high school coaches out here tonight.
And
you
almost like they're scouting.
Yeah. You know they've got to like what they see coming up through the pipeline, the 7th grade, now the 8th grade.
Very diplomatic, too. You got 7 of them over here on the Ramay sideline. I count about 5 or 6 over on the Woodland sideline. And I think they might have switched.
Yeah, I was going to say they probably switch at halftime. It's got to be equal time on both sides, understandably.
Still taking a look at Reed Slankard.
Get him up.
He's going to get up and walk off the field. That's good to see. He's a good player. You talk about the players that you see out here that you think could fit in on the high school roster. I expect to see Reed Slankard playing for the Purple Dogs in a couple of years. He's just all over the field defensively.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I'm looking forward to seeing as they move up through the years.
It was a loss of a yard on that play, so it's second down and 11 for Ramay from the 33-yard line. That's a bad snap. Jones picks it up, and he's taken down in the backfield. Schaefer was the one who got to him inside the 30. They'll mark him down at the 28-yard line, and it'll bring up a third down and long. And, Blair, we've seen on 3 or 4 occasions now, Ramay's having some trouble with their snaps.
Yeah, it's causing some problems. They can't really get into the play like they want. Boy, that Woodland defense is just everywhere.
So 2 lost yardage plays. Move the ball back to the 28-yard line. It'll be third down and 16 for Ramay. The Red Wolves have to get to the 44, their own 44. 1:30 to play first quarter. Another high snap. This goes over the running back's head. Jones picks it up inside the 15, and Woodland is back there on him. They take him down inside the 10-yard line. They'll give him a little bit of forward progress back out to the 12. But Ramay's got to get that snap cleaned up.
Yeah, and the forward progress really saved him, or else they'd been pinned back inside the 10.
Still a 16-yard loss. 3 straight negative plays for Ramay, and the Red Wolves will have to punt it away.
Well, they are just not sharp tonight on offense.
DeVessery stands inside his 5. Schaefer standing back on his 37. This is a high kick. They're not going to give him a chance for a return here. It takes a Woodland bounce back inside the 30, and it'll be downed at the 29-yard line.
They didn't even get to the original line of scrimmage.
Great field position here for Woodland as it'll start 1st and 10 with 37 seconds to play in the first quarter. Dana Boring and Eagle Bank Mortgage are proud supporters of this season of Woodland Colts football. Be sure to call Dana Boring for all your mortgage needs. NMLS number 419384, equal housing lender. Woodland leads 6-0, trying for more as they start 1st and 10 from the Ramay 29-yard line.
Set up in great field position.
Landon Schaefer is in the pistol formation. He's got 2 receivers to either side of him. Burns is the tailback. On first down, they give it to Burns. Gets 4 yards down to the 26-yard line. I think Schaefer owes Burns one after that block that Burns threw him for him on the punt return.
Yeah. It might take a couple of paybacks to equal that one.
And that's the end of the first quarter. We'll switch sides of the field with Woodland leading Ramay 6-0. This is Woodland Colts football. Back at Harmon Field as we get ready to start the second quarter. Woodland leads Ramay 6-0. The Colts have a 2nd down and 7 upcoming from the Ramay 26-yard line.
They've been ready to go for about 30 seconds.
Landon Schaefer in the shotgun formation. Gives it to Burns, and he just runs over, man. I'm sorry, that's not Burns. That's Dawson Birmingham on the run. Gets down to the 23-yard line, and it'll bring up 3rd down. Woodland has so many capable running backs, Blair, between Burns and Birmingham, Patterson. Terry had a really nice game a couple of weeks ago.
It's a luxury of riches for them. They've got all, I mean, who do you key on?
3rd down and 4. Woodland needs to get to the 19-yard line. Birmingham the tailback. Schaefer with 2 receivers to either side. Gives it to Birmingham. He's got the 1st down across the 20. He's got more across the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Woodland. Dawson Birmingham goes in from 23 yards out. There is a flag on the play back at the 18-yard line. And wait for the call, but it looks like this is coming back, and it's a hold against the Colts.
What a nice run by Birmingham. And a couple guys missed and zoomed into the end zone, but
the flag is at the 18-yard line, and so if it's a 10-yard penalty from there, it's going to create about a 3rd down and 9. Also indicates it was back behind the play, Blair.
yeah. Well, we saw a couple of those in the 7th grade game too that were big plays called back as flags well behind the play.
So 3rd down and 9. 3 receivers to the right side for Schaefer. They'll bring a man in motion. They'll give it to him. This is Graves. He's hitting the backfield, bounces off one defender, but he can't get much out to the 27. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Got to believe the Colts will go for it here.
Yeah. A little surprised they haven't gone to the air more tonight, but
After how long that 7th grade game went, they may be trying to get some time off the clock pretty quick.
That's true. Well, and they've had some success moving the ball on the ground, as you mentioned, with that stable of runners. But they also have some very talented receivers too. So
they haven't done just a whole lot on offense. They, of course, had the special teams touchdown, and this drive started at the 29-yard line. They're facing a 4th down and 8 from the 27.
A little discussion over on the Woodland sideline. Not sure what that was all about. Now they'll
a lot of changing of personnel too.
Yeah. Still waiting on the play to come in. 15 seconds on the play clock.
And now Woodland's going to have to take a timeout. 6:19 to play before halftime. 4th down upcoming. Woodland leads 6-0. This is Woodland Colts football. 4th down and 8 upcoming for Woodland with 6:19 to play before halftime. The Colts trying to add to a 6-0 lead. Blair, you got to believe that with 8 yards to go, you throw the ball here, but I can only think of one play Woodland has passed tonight, and that was on the 2-point try.
Yeah, that was it.
3 receivers to the right side is Schaefer. He takes the snap off the left hash mark. Plenty of time. Throwing left side toward the end zone for Birmingham. He's got it. Touchdown, Woodland.
Great throw.
27 yards to Dawson Birmingham. He's the one who had the touchdown called off a moment ago for holding. This time he gets it from 27. Nice throw by Schaefer. The Ramay defensive back just kind of misplayed it, and all Birmingham had to do was hang on.
He kind of committed a little early, as if he was going for the interception about the one, and the ball was over his head, into Birmingham's hands for the touchdown.
So a 2-point try upcoming again for Woodland. Terry is the tailback, and we've got a flag before the snap. It'll be a false start against the Colts. So that'll move the ball back to between the 7 and the 8-yard line. Make it a little bit more difficult here. Although I wonder, Blair, if offenses maybe like it here better than they do at the 2, because it spreads the defense out a little bit more, maybe gives you a few more options. On the 2-point try, here goes Terry running left side at the 5. Look at that cut. And he goes in for the 2-point conversion. We've talked about that, Blair, a couple of times this year, that he's got the ability to cut better than you see from a lot of these 8th graders. And when he does, he's got a lot of speed. Talk about prospects for the future. Yeah. Got to think that Terry's prospects are pretty good to play.
He's a big one, indeed. I mean, that's just athletic ability. You can't coach that.
6:10 to play in the second quarter. Our new score, Woodland 14, Ramay nothing. This is Woodland Colts football. We're back at Harmon Field, 6:10 to play before halftime. Woodland leads Ramay 14-0.
Great start for Woodland. 2-score lead. The defense has really stymied the Red Wolves. Kind of like where they're positioned right now.
Kelbray kicks it off, and that one will go out of bounds. And so Ramay will get the ball at the 35.
Well, with the way the defense is playing, that really hadn't seemed to bother him. Giving Ramay good possession or good field position to start.
It's interesting as they come back out on the field, Blair. We talked in the 7th grade game that Ramay had the size advantage over Woodland. I'm not so sure if it's not the other way around in this game. As you see the Ramay offense come out and the Woodland defense, Woodland's got some really, really big players. And now we've got a flag before the snap. This will be a false start against Ramay. And that'll move it back to the 30-yard line and create a first down and 15.
And again, Ramay starting in a hole to start an offensive possession.
Holden Plant is the quarterback. They give it to Jones running left side. He's got some room across the 35, the 40, the 45. Cuts back upfield on the Woodland side of the field to the 49-yard line. Nice carry that time by Jones, 21 yards. Yeah, that's easily Ramay's best offensive play of the game.
Oh, by far. A nice little cutback, too, at the 50 to pick up that extra yard. Well, that's a little spark for the Red Wolves, and that gives the Colts defense a little something to be concerned about.
Davion Jones, the captain tonight for Ramay. First down, Plant gives it to Jones again, running left side, hitting the hole, and he doesn't get anything. Back to the line of scrimmage. That was Reed Slankert on the tackle that time for Woodland. Good to see Reed back in the game after going off the field a couple of possessions ago. Clock running, 4:55 to play before halftime. Woodland leads 14-0, but Ramay's on the Colts side of the field for the first time. We've got a flag, and this is going to be another pre-snap penalty. Ramay just really shooting itself in the foot tonight with the snaps and the pre-snap penalties. Moves the ball back onto the Ramay side of the field at the 46-yard line. Second down and 15. Plant fakes the handoff and now just keeps it, throws it down the field. It's going to be intercepted. At the 41 of Woodland, they've got some return room across midfield at the 40, the 30, the 25, the 20, and finally run out of bounds at the 13-yard line. That was Daxton Tesmer on the interception. See where they mark him down. They mark him at the 14-yard line, Blair, so that'll be a return of 45. And Woodland takes over inside the red zone. Their last three possessions have been a punt return for a touchdown, start at the 29 and start at the 14.
Wow. Another big turnover by the Woodland defense this season. And boy, the offense now licking their chops.
Xavier Burns is the tailback. Schaefer comes out, and now we've got a timeout called by Ramay. With 4:27 to play before halftime, the Colts lead 14-0. This is Woodland football. .427 to play before halftime. Woodland with a first down and 10 from the Ramay 14-yard line. The Colts trying to add to a 14-0 lead after an interception. Landon Schaefer rolls left side, throws toward the end zone, and that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Graves, and that was a nice job by Xavier Brown coming over and defending that pass. I'm not so sure Schaefer's not lucky that that pass wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, that was a little dangerous. Thankfully, it was just ends up being an incomplete pass. We move on to second down.
From the 14-yard line, Burns is a tailback. They give it to Burns, and he doesn't get much, maybe a yard to the 13.
Nice tackle.
That was Trevor Sutton on the tackle that time for the Red Wolves, and it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, if he didn't make that tackle, I think that's probably a touchdown.
Woodland needs to get to the 4 to move the chains. 3rd down and 9. Schaefer goes play action, rolls left, throws, pass underneath, caught. First down yardage down to about the 3. Landon Holzhauer on the reception that time for the Colts. They'll mark him out. Blair inside the 2-yard line, so that'll be a gain of close to 12 yards and 1st and goal.
Yep. 4 more shots at it. You got to like their chances down close like this.
Birmingham comes in at tailback. He scored the touchdown a moment ago. And we got a flinch, and that's going to be a false start against Woodland.
Yep. Don't want that. So just backs him up 5 yards. So they'll reset and go again.
From just inside the 7. To give us to Birmingham, touchdown.
Nothing to it.
Birmingham could have walked in from 7 yards out. That's his second touchdown tonight, 1 receiving and 1 rushing. And with 2:55 to play before halftime, Woodland leads 20-0.
Kind of like the position they're in right now.
Two-point try upcoming. Schaefer looking right side, looking for Birmingham. Oh, he dropped it. He tried to dump it off on a swing pass to Birmingham. He got behind the defender, but he just couldn't pull it in. And with 2:55 to play before halftime, the Colts lead 20-0. This is Woodland football. .255 to play before halftime. Woodland leads Ramay 20-0. Cale Bray with the kick here. It bounces off a Ramay player, still a live ball, and will be taken down at the 34-yard line. That's where the Red Wolves will start with 2:49 to play before halftime. On the return that time was Noah Berry.
Turn over the capable hands of the Woodland defense again. This quarter's gone slow, hasn't it?
Ramay's offense, really outside of that big run by Davian Jones for 21 yards, just hasn't done much tonight. Red Wolves start here from the 35. Holden Plant takes a high snap, gives to Jones, right side, and he's going to be hit in the backfield. Taken down for a loss of about 4.
I don't think Ramay has had a positive yardage play on a first down yet.
I think Jones's run was on first down. But other than that, no. Terry was in on the tackle that time for Woodland. It's a 4-yard loss, second down and 14. Another high snap. Plant goes play action, being pressured, throws right side, and Barry's going to be taken down back behind the line of scrimmage.
A host of Colts in on the tackle that time.
Looked like Milo Thompson was the first one to get to him, and I think Woodland took a timeout, Blair. They want the ball back and try to do a little bit more damage before halftime.
Yeah, they're most likely going to get another crack at this.
Yeah, it's going to be a third down and almost 15. Third and 14. Upcoming for Ramay. The ball's at the 31-yard line. Ramay needs to get out to the 45, and the Ramay offense has just been really challenged to get much positive yardage against Woodland tonight. And we talked, Blair, We haven't talked about it tonight. Woodland's 8th grade team still hasn't given up a point all year.
No. They're
shut out Oakdale.
stout.
Yeah, shut out Oakdale in the opener 40-0. Won 26-0 in the second game of the season against Lakeside. And then last week it was the defensive struggle that you didn't really expect in an 8th grade game, 6-0, beating Central from Springdale, leading this one here 20-0.
Have to call them the Blue Curtain.
My math is right. That's 92-0 in their 4 games this year. Plants hit as he lets it go. The pass is incomplete. Almost intercepted that time by Trace Foreman near midfield. And it'll be 4th down for Ramay. Plant slow to get up.
Took a pretty good look. Boy, they brought the house on that one, didn't they? Man, this Woodland defense is something.
Schaefer standing back deep for Woodland to return the punt at the 45-yard line. Graves is also back deep for the Colts. Schaefer's already got a punt return touchdown tonight. High snap. Good kick, though. Takes Schaefer back to the 39. Schaefer gets across midfield, breaks a tackle, nearly broke another, and falls forward to the 47-yard line. A flag came in at the end of the return. So we'll have to see what that is about. It's a 14-yard return for Landon. And if the penalty is against Ramay, Woodland would be starting on the Ramay side of the field for the 4th straight possession, but it's not. It's against the Colts. And so it'll move Woodland back onto its side of the field. Be the first time that Woodland started on its side of the field since its first possession of the first quarter. From the 42-yard line, Schaefer, the quarterback, has 4 receivers. That's Terry, the running back. Terry, a good blitz pickup that time. Schaefer rolling left. Pass is caught near the 49-yard line. It was Luke Robley with the reception that time. Gain of 7. Brings up 2nd down and 3. Clock running, 1:09 to play before halftime. Well, no, now they've reset the clock back to 1:17.
Oh, wow. Now it's down to 101.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Some clock issues. Schaefer keeps it himself across midfield to the 45. He's got 1st down yardage, and he'll be taken down after a gain of 6. Clock stopped for a moment. Now it's running again. 47 seconds to play before halftime. Woodland not showing just a ton of urgency here. Makes you wonder if they might be trying to hit a deep pass here in a moment. Schaefer throws left side. The pass is caught, but spun around in bounds and taken down at the 44-yard line is Turner Robinson. And now Woodland's going to have to take its 2nd timeout. 24 seconds to play before halftime. The Colts trying to add to a 20-0 lead. This is Woodland football. .24 seconds to play before halftime. Woodland facing a 2nd down and 9 from the Ramay 44. Colts have 1 timeout left. Schaefer looking deep down the field for Graves, and that pass is almost intercepted. It must have hit 4 Ramay players in the hands, and it hit the ground. Really fortunate that time for Woodland. There's a Ramay player down inside the 30-yard line.
Like a pinball machine back there. The ball was bouncing around.
He was looking for Graves, and Xavier Brown is the one who made first contact with the ball. And you're right, it did look like a pinball machine. Hit off one chest, then the next chest, and finally hit the ground. Woodland fortunate.
Fortunately, it didn't go tilt.
3rd down and 9, trying to set up a screen, and incomplete. He had his man slankered. There's a flag that's come in. I wonder if this might be an ineligible receiver down the field. It was a late flag thrown by the side judge in front of the Ramay bench. And it looked to me, Blair, like about maybe 2 or 3 Woodland linemen got too far down the field.
Yeah.
Still waiting on the official signal. It is against Woodland. It's an ineligible receiver.
Yep, called it.
Ramay has declined the penalty, so it's now 4th down and 9. A little surprising, I think, Blair, that they've declined the penalty, because with just 9 seconds remaining, or now they put 3 seconds back on, so there's 12 seconds left before halftime. Woodland's still going to go for this, and
yeah, but they didn't want to give him another down.
I'm not sure the down really matters with this much time.
No.
Schaefer looking deep for Graves, and this pass is incomplete. And that was Brown again on the coverage for Ramay. And so Woodland turns it turns it over on downs with 5 seconds to play before halftime.
Yeah, because if you accept the penalty, they still got another crack at it. Now you can just go out and.
Either way, it worked out for Ramay. Yeah.
Man, that was a long quarter.
Still not over.
No.
5 seconds to play. Ramay has not had a lot of offensive success tonight.
No, I'm kind of surprised. I don't think there's a lot to discuss right now. You just take a knee and let's go to the locker room and regroup. But they may have something up their sleeve. You just never know. Can't take a play off, that's for sure, if you're a Colt right now.
Holden Plant takes the snap, and it's a fumble.
Oh, my.
And I think Ramay's on it at the 40. And either way, that's going to be the end of the half. Really rough half offensively for Ramay. Woodland has started the season, Blair, with 14 consecutive shutout quarters. And the Colts lead the Red Wolves 20-0 at halftime. We'll be back in a little bit. This is Woodland football. Getting ready for the start of the second half here at Harmon Field. Woodland leads Ramay 20-0. And the Colts will get the ball first in the second half.
Man, it's late compared to where we're normally at. This is almost like that Owasso game when we started at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, not quite.
Jeez. That's all right. These kids are young. They'll bounce back. It's this older folks that are going to struggle in the morning.
Yeah, I walked out of here at midnight after the Owasso game.
Yeah, that was not a fun weekend. I was on the field in Muskogee at 7:30 the next morning calling softball all day. Man. Hey, that was my choice, though, so.
Hard to believe that as we see Woodland take this. This is Graves. Gets across the 30, the 35, the 40. Look at this. He's at midfield. Graves is at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Woodland.
Wow.
Charlie Graves takes it all the way back 70 yards for a kickoff touchdown to start the second half. That's 2 special teams touchdowns tonight for the Colts.
Boy, a big one, too. Boy, what a just almost a nail in the coffin right here to start the third quarter. Looked like it was going to be a contest whether he could get to the 2 and get to the edge, and he simply got there, and they couldn't stop him. Nice blocking, too, by the special teams. I mean, they opened up some holes, and off he went.
Landon Schaefer brings the offense out for a 2-point try. Tyree Terry stands next to him as the tailback. Schaefer looking toward the end zone. That pass is caught by Crone, and the Colts now lead 28-0.
Making it look easy. So we've had a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown.
And 2 Dawson Birmingham scores.
Yep.
7:46 to play third quarter. Woodland leads 28-0. What I was going to say before the kickoff, Blair, I feel bad that I may have ruined Charlie Graves' moment. But basically is that it feels weird that we're going to go into October and Fayetteville High School is only going to have played 1 game here at home.
Yeah, that is, wow, now that you mention it, that is
especially for
crazy.
A season that began in August. The season began August 28th at Conway. Fayetteville played Owasso here on September the 4th, and unless the Rogers rescheduling is here in Harmon, and by what I mean by that is with Rogers not going to be able to play next week, that game was going to be up in Rogers. But assuming they can get a game rescheduled for that night, unless that game's here at Harmon, you're talking about it's going to be October the 9th before you see a game again here in Fayetteville.
It's
just an odd year.
It's been a very odd year.
Caden Wamser is going to be taken down. Ooh, look at that tackle by
nice
Terry.
Tackle. That's one of those. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. If I'm a Fayetteville wrestling coach, I might be going to talk to him afterward.
Might be sending him an email later tonight. Yeah, this has been an interesting year. It's interesting. It has not affected the junior highs like it has the high schools, but of course the junior highs aren't driving around. Parents have to take them everywhere, so that's a little more controlled. And we hope it doesn't affect them. Well, now the Colts have just got to want to preserve the shutout, and that's a good way to start right there.
That was a good job by Estevan Mendoza to take down Jones in the backfield.
Terry in on that as well.
It's a loss of 3.
And again, they first down, lose yardage.
Yep, seen that a lot tonight.
Man, this Colt defense is really something.
You mentioned that it hasn't affected the junior highs. Of course, there's some thought that there's an age somewhere around as they throw here on second down. That pass almost intercepted. Crawford Garman on the coverage that time for Woodland. It'll be 3rd down and long. Of course, there's some thought that the younger you are, the less susceptible you are to the virus.
True. They're not requiring, those 10 and under to wear
10
a
and
mask.
under wear a mask, right? Seems like somewhere in that 14 to 16, 17 range is where you start seeing maybe a little bit worse symptoms. This is a high snap, and I'm not sure Plant was able to get on it. I think Woodland's got the football.
I think they do too.
Another high snap, and this time Tyree Terry comes away with it.
Yeah, there were about 5 Colts back there gathered them around. Man, I'm telling you, this Colt defense is just put on a show all season long, not just tonight. They are something. They've got something special over there in Woodland.
This is going to be a first down from the 11-yard line. Think about Woodland tonight. They've started drives at the 29 of Ramay, the 14 of Ramay, now the 11 of Ramay. They've had a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown.
You know, I think Ramay may even have negative yardage for the ball game if we were doing this.
You're probably right. They had the big run, 21 yards.
And that's been about it.
They've also had some plays where they lost 16.
Yes.
Here's a low snap. They'll give it to Terry running from the 10, the 5, touchdown. Tyree Terry goes in from 11 yards out. And with 6:16 to play in the third quarter, Woodland has run its lead to 34-0.
It has been all Colts tonight. Ramay just has not had an answer for the Colt offense, and then the offense has definitely not had an answer for the Colt defense.
Here comes the 2-point try.
And run somebody on the field the last minute.
Trying to add to a 34-0 lead. Woodland will keep it, and we'll come up short. That's Charlie Garton, Blair.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who that was. That's Charlie Garton, the 7th grade quarterback, had come in. He actually handed it off to Terry. He got the 2-point try.
He's got an 8th grade uniform this time, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looks like, and I think he's wearing number 80, and I didn't have an 80 on my roster. I've been sitting here trying to figure out who that is. Garton and Kilpatrick have played for the 8th grade team.
But in the 7th grade uniform before, so they easily stood out.
You actually see Caden Kilpatrick standing over on the far sideline, still wearing his 7th grade uniform. The 7th grade game earlier was Woodland was wearing their blue uniforms and Ramay was wearing their red, and a little bit different here in the 8th grade with, the traditional home and away look.
Well, I almost wonder if they have to I would assume that's in the rule they have to wear the same color, right?
Same color, probably so.
Probably wanted to put a white jersey on him. Well, and that's why we kind of started late tonight, because the 7th grade game decided they played 8-minute quarters.
You almost played the equivalent of what would be about
quite a bit.
5.5 quarters for 7th graders.
Yeah.
32 minutes overall instead of 24. Woodland leads 34-0 here with 6:16 to play in the third quarter.
Will they keep it in bounds or not? Yep. Wow,
this is
what a bounce.
This is Giovanni Gill with the kickoff this time, and Ramay's going to be able to make a little bit of this, get out across the 40-yard line. That's Wamser to the 41.
Well, that was something. It hit and went sideways.
So outside of that Woodland turnover on downs at the 44, Blair, this will be Ramay's best starting field position tonight.
You know the Colts want to preserve that shutout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Still
they've got the game.
Left. Yeah.
They've got the game in hand, you feel.
Yeah.
But now the question becomes, can they pitch a 4th shutout to start the season?
Don't want to give up that one big play.
Plant still the quarterback for Ramay. They'll bring a man in motion. That's Barry. They fake it to Jones, and now they look down the middle. They got a man wide open and just overthrew him. I'm not even sure it was overthrown. It just went through the hands of Xavier Brown, and had Brown been able to pull that in, that would have been a touchdown.
That was that one big play. Well, I bet we'll see that again. Really a nice job by Ramey. Good play call.
Yeah, double play fake. Second down from the 42-yard line. Plant goes play action. Looking again. He's got another one behind the defense. This is Barry, catches it at the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. Noah Barry with Ramey's biggest gain of the night. That's a 33-yard reception to the Woodland 25.
We see, I think, some of the starters come back in as they'd like to keep the shutout intact. That's kind of that fine line you walk as a coach. You want guys to get experience, but you'd like that 0.
They give us to Jones across the 20. Jones is at the 15. Jones is inside the 10, still running hard inside the 5, and it'll be first and goal from there. Davion Jones with a 20-yard carry. Add that to his 21-yard gain earlier tonight. This looks like a different Ramey offense.
Totally.
And it's not just the fact that they're gaining yards, but those two pass plays quite different from what we saw from them in the first half, where they didn't really throw the ball just a whole lot.
No. That definitely opened things up.
From the 5, first and goal. Jones trying to get left side to the corner, being pursued from behind, and they'll be taken down short of the goal line. No, they say it's a touchdown.
Okay.
They gave him the score. And so Ramey, with 4:50 to play in the third quarter, becomes the first team to score on Woodland's 8th grade team this year.
Well, it was interesting, too, because the side judge was standing, about the 3 when he called it? I thought maybe he had stepped out of bounds, judging by where he was standing. Usually they're on the goal line when they call that.
Ramey will go for 2. Plant looking right side, and he's got Barry for the 2-point conversion.
Nice play call.
Well, Plant.
Well, it looked like a totally different team.
It really did.
That drive.
Just a lot more crisp passing by Ramey. And with 4:50 to play third quarter, Woodland's lead is now 34-8.
Just kind of let it all hang out, that possession. And a nice play call on the 2-point conversion. Man was wide open in the end zone.
So, Blair, the Woodland defense went 115 minutes and 10 seconds to start the season without giving up a touchdown.
It's pretty good.
14 consecutive quarters without allowing a score.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
Well,
not just
14 and a half.
It's not just a touchdown. It's a score.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even though Ramey's not going to go out of here tonight with the win, most likely, they can't go out of here knowing that they've scored on maybe the best defense they're going to see this year.
Oh, yeah. They've done something nobody else has done so far this year.
Noah Berry, who just caught the 2-point try, will kick it off. He also had the big play of that possession, the 33-yard reception on second down. This looks like an onside kick, but it hits a Ramey player.
Yeah.
And Woodland will just fall on it at the 45.
Yeah, unlike the Falcons, who last Sunday just let it roll around all day. Man, that just not the craziest thing ever?
It looked like a kick out of Pulaski Academy's playbook.
Yeah, it did. He just didn't put enough English on it.
First time the Cowboys had recovered a onside kick in 6 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's so hard now with the rules, too.
Yeah, the last couple of years it's been increasingly difficult.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to legislate it out.
Well, we've talked about this before. The kickoff is going to go away from football, I think, at some point.
Mm-hmm. Which will prevent a lot of a team kind of from coming back from down 2 scores late in the game.
Maybe so.
Because how do you get the ball back?
Well, there's been some discussion about that. think it's like a we'll talk about this here in just a minute. Charlie Garton back out for quarterback. From the 42 of Ramey, the give is to Patterson. Patterson's across the 40. He's at the 35. Bowls over a man at the 30. Still running hard inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Great run.
We talked about Woodland having all those really good running backs. Patterson with his first good run of the night. 14 yards down to the 28.
Boy, credit to the offensive line. They are just owning that line of scrimmage.
4:16 to play third quarter. Woodland leads 34-8. Charlie Garton, he's a 7th grader playing here with the 8th grade team at quarterback. Gives it to Patterson off a low snap. Patterson's at the 25, at the 20. Patterson just continuing to run over the Ramey defenders. He's got another first down to the 16. Patterson with gains of 14 and 12 to start this drive, and Woodland taking advantage once again of great field position inside the red zone. 1st and 10 upcoming from the 16.
Charlie getting everybody set in position.
To give to Patterson again across the 15. Patterson breaks a tackle. Patterson breaks another and just falls forward to the 10. He is running hard.
He is, and
his helmet came off.
Yeah, he's going to have to come out. But, man, one of the Red Wolves tried to tackle him. He lowered that shoulder and said, no, sir. Boy, you just can't coach. You just born with that kind of effort. You can't coach that. So the coaches, appreciate that.
Kind of looks like Christian Okoye on the 8th grade field.
I mean, somebody's got to step up for Ramey and be Steve Atwater, right?
2nd down and 4. Garton gives it to Burns' side. Burns trying to run right side, but he's going to be hitting the backfield and taken down back at the 14-yard line. On the tackle that time for Ramey was DeVessery.
He's a little shaken up. Nice tackle by him. Didn't let the stiff arm stop him.
That's a loss of 4 on the play, and it'll be a 3rd down and 8. We haven't seen Charlie Garton throw a pass.
Not yet.
He is a running quarterback, and now Woodland is going to take a timeout. 2:32 to play third quarter. Woodland leads 34-8. This is Woodland football. Back at Harmon Field, 2:32 to play third quarter. Woodland trying to add to a 34-8 lead. Facing a 3rd down and 8 from the Ramey 14-yard line. Charlie Garton is the quarterback. He will keep it himself, running right side. Garton gets outside at the 10. Garton's got the first down and pushed out of bounds near the 5. They needed 8. He got 8. And that should give Woodland a 1st and goal. It does. They took him a moment to give the signal over on the far sideline, but he got 8 out to the 6-yard line. Patterson's lined up behind him, and now they're late getting a player off the field. The give is to Patterson, running right side, and Patterson goes in, standing up. Touchdown, Woodland. Patterson deserved to get the touchdown on that drive after the hard runs he had early in the drive.
Man, he was impressive on that drive.
6-yard touchdown run that time for Desarian Patterson. And now Woodland will go for 2, trying to add to a 40-8 lead. This feels like this is the best we've seen this Woodland offense look this year.
Oh, no
I know they've
question.
been set up, with some short field, but
Still, I mean, you still got to capitalize even on a short field, and they've done that.
of course they've had those 2 special teams touchdowns that have helped too. Garton on the 2-point play, and they're going to come up short here. He handed it off to Turner Robinson, and Robinson got back to the line of scrimmage. 2-pointer no good, but with 2:16 to play in the third quarter, new score, Woodland 40, Ramay 8. This is Woodland football. Back at Harmon Field, where Woodland leads Ramay 40-8 here in the 8th grade game. Woodland trying to go 2-0 tonight against its crosstown rival. The 7th grade team beat Ramay 22-14. Here's a kickoff that goes through the hands of Jones. Jones picks it up, gets across the 40.
Well, look out if he can get around the corner. Nope, stepped out of bounds at the 44 and a half, 45. So Ramay gets pretty good field position to start. Well, we're still in the third quarter, aren't we? 2:07 to go. And it has been all Woodland tonight. Though the Red Wolves did score the first points again on the Woodland defense this season. Nope, somebody's not on the field, so he's going to have to trot out there. And they're going to have to burn a timeout.
Yep. We'll take a quick timeout, too. This is Woodland football. Back at Harmon Field, another bad snap goes through the hands of Jones in the backfield, and he's taken down back at the 45-yard line. It's been a rough night offensively for Ramay. That'll be a loss of 10.
Kind of one of those 2020 nights.
Yep.
See one of the Colts a little shaken up. Tristan Bass. Staying in the ball game.
This game is dragging on. 1:17 to play third quarter. Seems like these last 2 quarters are taking forever.
Yeah.
Another bad snap.
Jeez.
Jones picks it up at the 38, trying to get away. He is going to make a little bit of positive out of a bad situation, maybe even gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
He was kind of hoping some teammates might help him out with the block, but they were all just kind of standing watching. Like, oh, my goodness, what's going on here?
Tristan Bass again. Tristan Bass looks like he might be hurt.
Yeah.
Trying to play through it.
Something's amiss.
Got to credit the toughness, but you almost wonder if you're an official, you might have to step in there and
at least
tell him what's,
At least ask him, are you okay?
It's 2 big hits Bass has taken in the last couple of plays. Plant drops the football, and Woodland's got it. It was recovered that time by Turner Robinson.
It's just been that kind of night for Ramey.
Mm-hmm. You hate to see that for Ramey, too, because they'd put together that really good offensive drive, and you thought maybe they were finding some rhythm. But Woodland's going to start on the Ramey side of the field again, this time at the 39-yard line. 19 seconds to play third quarter.
So Holden Plant and Davion Jones kind of talking on the sideline like, oh, I thought you were doing this. All right. And then they pat each other on the head and say, all right, we'll get him next time.
Davion Jones kind of favoring maybe a wrist or something here on the sideline after he goes off the field. Garton gives it to Robinson. Robinson put the ball on the turf, and I think Ramey may have it.
Yeah. And who was that? Somebody for the Colts came running on the field at the very end. Giannis came on. They were a man short. So first down for Ramey. So they must have had 10 men on the field. They send the guy out in the middle of the play. He comes running in from the back of the play, and I'm seeing a little bit of everything this year.
That's the end of the third quarter. 8 minutes to go here in Fayetteville. Woodland's got this game in hand. The Colts lead Ramey 40-8. This is Woodland football. Start of the fourth quarter at Harmon Field. Woodland leads Ramey 40-8. Ramey starting first and 10 from its own 40-yard line. Holden Plant being pressured is going to be taken down. A sack that time for the Colts. Wyatt Brennan.
Nice job, Wyatt.
Back to the 34-yard line. It's a loss of 6.
And Wyatt's playing nose tackle. It's not every day you see the nose tackle come up with the sack. Or nose guard. What am I saying? Nose tackle.
Low snap. This is Jerry running right side. Gets across the 40 and then pushed back at the 41-yard line. That was Brennan again on the tackle.
Pretty nice run. They've had their success has come on the outside. Woodland has plugged the middle pretty solidly all night long. And I would imagine we're probably seeing some guys, second-teamers in there getting some experience.
Correct myself, that was Wamser on the tackle. Jerry's number 4 for Ramey's 7th grade team. 3rd down and 9 from the 41-yard line, and now Woodland's offsides.
Well, I guess
that's an easy one to call when you knock down the offensive lineman in front of you.
Well, if you're going to jump, you might as well get your money's worth, right? I mean, it wasn't a hard lick or anything.
That was Landon Martin who jumped offsides that time for Woodland. That'll move Ramey 5 yards closer to the sticks. 3rd down and 4 upcoming from the 46. Red Wolves need to get to midfield. Trailing 40-8. Plant gives left side. This is a good run for DeVessery across the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. Nice positive yardage that time for the Red Wolves. Tristan Bass with the tackle for Woodland. Pickup of 11. That might be the first time, Blair, we've seen Ramey convert a 3rd down tonight.
Yes, I believe you are correct.
Clock running under 5:50 to play. Woodland trying to salt away a
Ooh,
Big win here. That pass is incomplete. Robinson
big tip.
deflected a pass that was intended for Xavier Brown.
He might have been there had he not tipped it.
Woodland's going to improve to 4-0 tonight. We mentioned they go to Bentonville next week, really Centerton. They'll play the Washington Wildcats. They give to DeVessery, and he's taken down to the backfield. Loss of a couple on the tackle that time, Wyatt Brennan.
Man, they have had a ton of tackles for losses tonight.
Some of them,
So,
a lot of them have
bad
been
snaps.
self-inflicted, with the bad snaps. But Woodland's defense has done a nice job of just pursuing to the ball wherever it is. That includes on some of the plays downfield. Plant on third down, looks left side. The pass is caught, getting away from Bass and then falling forward to the 35-yard line. Still short of the first down marker. That was Wamser. And now to be 4th down and 2.
Yeah, you'd think they'd go for it here. I mean, why not?
Ramey needs to get to the 33-yard line. And now they'll come in and go under center. Wamser's trying to push Plant forward, and I think they've got it.
Wow.
Look at that. All the way down to the 30-yard line.
Kind of a rugby scrum that kept moving. It looked like they might have had him stop momentarily, but then they surged forward.
Blair, I think that's the first time we've seen in an 8th grade game this year a snap from under center.
I think you're right. Just didn't recognize it. It's such a rarity anymore.
1st and 10 for Ramey. Clock running. 4:01 to play 4th quarter. From the Woodland 30. Woodland bringing a blitz. Plant throws deep. Scott Brown, touchdown Ramey.
Good throw.
Yeah, really nice deep pass that time by Plant to Brown. 30-yard touchdown for the Red Wolves. And that cuts the Woodland lead to 40-14.
A lot of points tonight. This might be the highest scoring game of the year combined.
Yeah, it is. Pretty easily, too, actually. Just because Woodland's not been giving up points. They've tied their season high for points scored tonight with 40. They scored 40 in the game against Oakdale. Then you had the points by Ramey in, and it's easily the highest scoring game. Plant turns around, gives it to DeVessery, running right side, and he's not going to make it.
Wow.
In fact, he fumbled the ball at the end. Good pursuit that time by the Woodland defense. Leighton Faulkman took him out of bounds. And so with 3:48 to play 4th quarter, the score, Woodland 40, Ramey 14. This is Woodland football. .348 to play as Ramey sets up a kickoff. Woodland leads 40-14. Charlie Graves and Xavier Burns are back deep for the Colts to receive this kick if they get an opportunity. Graves had a Kickoff return for a touchdown to start the second half. One of 2 special teams touchdowns tonight for Woodland. Landon Schaefer also had a punt return for a touchdown in the second quarter. It's a little bit of an onside kick type. Takes a bounce. Woodland's got a fall on it. I don't think they realize it's a live ball, and Ramay has recovered it at the 32-yard line.
Yep.
Xavier Brown recovered it, and kind of feel bad for Isaac Smith. A learning experience for him. He had a chance to fall on it, but almost treated it like it was a punt return.
Yeah, he wasn't sure what to do.
Credit Xavier Brown for getting down and recovering that for Ramay, and so the Red Wolves will start first down from the 32 of Woodland.
That'll be one of the longest onside kicks you ever see.
Yep, mentioned that it's a good teaching moment. Isaac Smith getting some pats on the back over on the sideline. Coach Crockett, got to believe, just told him, you just got to fall on it on a kickoff.
Fall on it, yeah.
Yep. Ramay's going to bring in the backup quarterback, Wyatt Anderson here, number 10. 3:25 to play, another poor snap. DeVessery pulls it in at the 30, and he's going to make a pretty nice run out of this out to the 25-yard line.
Kind of worked to their advantage.
Gibson Griswold on the tackle that time for Woodland. Clock stops on the run out of bounds. 3:16 to play. It'll be second down and 3. Anderson throwing left on second down. The pass caught at the 20 and taken out of bounds at the 18-yard line. On the catch that time was Adam Russell.
Nice.
Clock runs, 3:02 to play.
Nice block by Dre Blackburn. After he caught it, allowed him to pick up that first down. Well, the scoring may not be done in this one yet, man.
May not be. Anderson takes the snap, looking left, now rolls right, being pressured, and will be taken down back in the backfield, back at the 26-yard line. That was Landon Martin with the tackle.
Yeah, not escaping that. If Martin didn't get him, there were 2 teammates right there ready to take him as well.
Nearing the end of a long night here. 7th grade game began at 5:30. This game's gone for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Wyatt Anderson being pressured on second down, throws right side. The pass is incomplete, and it'll be third down. Pressure that time came from Wyatt Brennan. Brennan's had a nice second half here.
He's been very active, hasn't he?
Making the most of playing time. Third down and 18 upcoming here. Ball's at the 26. They need to get to the 8 to convert the first down. Clock stopped on the incomplete pass. 1:57 to play. And this is a bobbled handoff, but they're going to call him down. As Adam Russell on the carry. Lost back to the 29-yard line, and now it's fourth down and 21.
Yeah, he had the ball up above his head after the handoff, which is something it was pretty amazing. He didn't fumble. Credit to him.
Clock is stopped, although I don't know why. Probably should be running after that tackle in bounds. Anderson being pressured on fourth down, now just throws it toward the end zone. The pass is incomplete, almost intercepted. On the coverage that time for Woodland was Billy Yerby. It hit Billy in the hands, and he just couldn't pull it in. It'll be a turnover on downs, and with 1:40 to play, Woodland should just have to take a couple of snaps and be out of here with a good win.
Yep. It's a good night for the Colts. Indeed. They get the bragging rights for the year, and just keep rolling on, and Ramay will bounce back, get another crack at it next week.
Charlie Garton is the quarterback again for Woodland.
Yeah, I think both coaches have emptied the benches, trying to get guys out there.
Probably a lot of friends on the opposing sidelines tonight. Patterson will take it from the 26. Patterson's across the 40, cuts back upfield at the 45, near midfield, and will be taken down at midfield after a gain of 24. And so Lazarian Patterson just continues to run hard.
Man. He's got one gear. Fast.
Minute 25 to play. Woodland really only needs to take a couple of more snaps. First down from midfield. Gotta believe you're going to see Patterson run it again here. Patterson left side across the 45. He's at the 40, breaks a tackle, breaks another across the 35, cuts inside at the 30, and falls forward to the 29-yard line.
Wow.
It takes a village to bring him down.
Yeah, he had a blocker in front of him, knocked him down too, and the Ramay defender. Man, he just runs over whoever's in his way.
2 carries for 45 yards on this drive for Patterson. Clock still running, 32 seconds to play. Woodland leads 40-14, and you don't think they'll score again, but if they give it to Patterson, they might.
Yeah. Which way will he go?
Garton will just take a knee, and that'll be the end of that. So Woodland ties a season high tonight with 40 points. It's the first time they won't walk off the field with a shutout win, but they got to feel pretty good with a 40-14 victory over their crosstown rival, the Ramay Red Wolves.
Great performance for Woodland tonight, man. They just continue to roll.
And they're 4-0 this year, and they've won all 4, or they've won 3 of the 4, I should say, in big fashion. They go to Bentonville next week. They'll take on the Washington Wildcats. It'll be their second road game of the season, but their first true road game. Take a 4-0 record into the month of October, and they've got to feel really good about the way they're playing. The 8th grade team won tonight. 7th grade team also beat Ramay tonight to improve to 3-1. Next week we'll be in Centerton. 5:30 first snap for the 7th grade game between the Woodland Colts and the Washington Wildcats. Appreciate you joining us tonight. For Blair Cartwright, I'm Matt Jones. Have a great night, everyone.